Hello everyone, back for another doll video. Sorry I've been gone for a little bit, but I had some trouble with my phone. The screen stopped working on it, but I've got a new phone and I'm recording from that. I could record from my iPad, but I'm just not a huge fan of it's big and clunky and stuff like that, so I prefer to do a handheld device. So I got a new phone. It's not new, it's like 3 years old. It was my brother's phone and he gave it to me because he's got a phone already. So he just gave me his old phone. So, but yes, the last video I'd done was the Ariel dolls, and I have since fixed them all up, so I'll be doing a video of those. But today I have a doll that I have not seen in a very long time. I haven't seen her since I was 12. And it is the Totally Hair Brunette. Now the story behind my original one was I was in my brother's friend's backyard. We were visiting, and I remember in the backyard they had like this blue tarp over some stuff. I was just out in the backyard walking around, and it had rained and stuff like that. And I remember walking around in the backyard and looking on the blue tarp, like on the very corner, and this doll head was just lying there on the tarp. And I remember distinctly finding like a classic Barbie hairbrush. It was pearlized in the backyard too. I don't know if it was like the neighbors behind them or something like that. I don't know where the doll head came from, but I was just walking in the backyard and there she was, just lying on this blue tarp, like the corner of it, that was covering a bunch of, like a mountain of stuff in their backyard. I have no idea what was under it, but yeah, she was lying there and she was a hot mess. She'd obviously had her hair cut a little bit. It wasn't like as long as it's supposed to be, as long as this one is. And yeah, I played with that doll head so much. That was what I would do. Like that's what happened a lot when I was a kid, was I would just find random Barbie parts and stuff when I was a kid. I would find heads, and like there's this abandoned house where I found a bunch of like broken Barbies at, which I've mentioned on my channel like multiple times. But yeah, literally this doll head kind of got trashed whenever I was a kid, like because I played with her so much, and because she was just a head, the only thing I could really do with her, I didn't have a body for her to go on or anything, and so the main thing I would do with Barbie heads is I would like squish them and stuff like that, and that's how I'd play with them. I would pop them onto little sticks and make them like little stick people. So yeah, this was all while I was living with my mom, so. And my mom didn't allow me to have Barbies. She didn't like dolls. So I had to hide them and stuff like that. So this was one of the Barbie heads that I'd found that I'd had to hide. And the funny thing is, like the day that I found my original one, my mom was like talking to her friend about how she didn't want me to have dolls and stuff like that, and I remember I'd said a comment. I was like 10 years old, and I remember I'd said a comment, like I'd made a comment while they were like chit-chatting back and forth, because they were talking to me as well, and they were like you're not gonna have any more Barbies and stuff like that, and I was like, I'll just get more. And my mom's friend was like, no, you won't, and stuff like that. And I literally walk in the backyard and find a Barbie head back there. So it was kind of funny how that worked out. So, but yeah, I had this doll for so long. Actually, no, about 2 years. Because I was 10 and then I lost her when I was 12. So yeah, I didn't know how to deal with connect long hair. I didn't even know that connect long hair had a name. So I remember her hair would keep frizzing. It was always sticking straight up, and I didn't know about boil washing or anything. I was only 10. And so whenever I couldn't deal with her hair anymore, I would just cut some of it off, and then I would brush it. It would frizz again, and I would cut it again, and so it got to where it was like super short. And there was a time period where she didn't have any face paint anymore because the paint had gotten so cracked and chipped and everything. So yeah, her face paint, the majority of her face paint had just rubbed off by that point. So yeah, it was interesting though. Like right after I got this doll, I'd seen like a magazine clipping or something like that was like reminiscing over Barbie. And I'd seen the Totally Hair Brunette on this like magazine piece of paper. Maybe it was I don't know what it was, whether it was like a newspaper or if it was a magazine or what it was, but I remember looking at the Brunette Totally Hair. Of course, I was so idiotic when I was a kid, I couldn't even pronounce totally, so I called her Toddly Hair. Instead of calling her totally hair, I called her toddly hair, and I was like, I don't know what that word means, but oh well, I guess that's what she's called. And yeah, I remember looking at the face on my doll, and I remember looking back at of course, the picture was very small, but I remember looking back at the photo and then to my doll head, and looking back at the photo and looking at my doll. I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally have that doll in my hand, right there. So, and I used to sneak this doll to school and everything as well. Um, like I used to keep like around Easter. I remember a lot of my Barbie heads that I had that I'd found abandoned. I would keep them in Easter eggs to hide them. So it was like around Easter or whatever. And so I would carry like this Easter egg around with me, and really it was like so my Barbie could be incognito. So I was storing her in an Easter egg so nobody would know. Be like, oh, this kid's just carrying. She's just carrying an Easter egg around. No big deal, you know. But no, that's how I'd hide some of my dolls, like that. But yeah, long story short, this doll's demise was she had no face paint pretty much left from me like constantly squeezing her head. And then I eventually buzz cut her because the hair was so out of control at that point. And then at some point I wound up using her as like a project head. Like I wound up like testing out to see if like I could remove the hair, because I was like, I know there's like a way you could, I'm sure there's a way you could like remove the hair and stuff like that, because I wanted to see what a doll like a Barbie would look like without hair. And so I remember trying to figure out, this is even more like how I was dumb when I was a kid. This will explain even more how this will explain how dumb I was even more, like the intensity of how dumb I was. Like, so I didn't even realize that I could go through the neck hole. And yeah, this one does have a neck joint in there. It's pink. Yep, it's pink. So I will be using that neck joint. But I didn't realize that I could just go through the neck hole and like, that's how I taught myself how to scrape the plugs out of the head to get them out. But I didn't realize that you could just go through the neck hole. Or maybe I just figured that whatever I put through the neck hole wouldn't reach that far up in there. I don't know. I was just that dumb. So the doll was already buzz cut, so I wound up cutting a teeny tiny little square in the head, and I like took all the hair out that way. And the weirdest thing that I had done was I had rolled, I didn't know what to do with all the other like bits of her hair that had come out, so I just rolled them up like I took both my hands and I rolled up individual bits of her hair into little balls. And then I like had super glue and I like stuck them to her head to like make it look like she had short curly hair, and it just looked atrocious. So I ripped all of those off And then there was a point where I repainted her face with these really crappy kid paints, and it looked really bad. And I remember the last thing that I remember about this doll, like where she was, is I was like out on the front porch, and there's this little sidewalk that led up to the little duplexes that I was in. And I think I remember like pretending she was a ball or something, like a bouncy ball, and I like threw her, and by that time she had no face paint, no hair, hole cut in the side of her head from where I scraped all the hair plugs out. And I literally like threw her down the sidewalk, and she landed in the dirt somewhere, and I think I forgot about her. I think I just left her there and forgot that she was there. And yeah, that I remember going back like a week later. Like I remembered a week later that that's what happened, and I remember going back and she wasn't there anymore. So somebody must have got that head. Hopefully they did something good with her. Hopefully she didn't go in the trash, and maybe they rerouted her and repainted her face. I don't know. But yeah, that was during the summer of 2002. That was the last time I'd seen her, and now I have her back. Finally, after all these years, she's got her original earrings. So yes, I finally can avenge my original one that I had. It was hard remembering which brunette Barbie that I had, but I'm pretty sure it was this one. I remember looking at that photo in the magazine and back at this one and matching them both up. Like seeing the eyeshadow. Then of course my doll's head was hard like this. Like it's a little bit harder. It is squishy, but it's harder than a standard Barbie head. So yeah, she's the China variant of Totally Hair Barbie, and this was the one I had. So yeah, and I remember the hair color was like this. It was kind of lighter. It wasn't like, let's say, so yeah, I have the brunette cut and style Barbie. It's darker than this. So yeah, it definitely wasn't her that I had, because I would have known the Velcro patch. There was also like glitter hair Barbie, but I definitely know it wasn't her. The facial coloring does not match. Like I remember mine had like cool toned makeup like this and like purpley eyes. So yeah, I'm pretty 100% positive that it's her. And yeah, it's just crazy seeing her again after all, because I played with this doll so freaking much. Like even though she was just a head, I took her to friends' houses and things like that. They didn't really question why I had a Barbie head. I mean, I remember I was carrying this Barbie head around, and one of my friends, Barbara, yeah, her name was Barbara. She would take her Barbies on the bus and stuff like I did, and people used to call her Barbara Barbie and stuff on the school bus. But I remember I feel bad, but the main reason I played with her was because she had Barbies. She wasn't really very nice, but I was like, well, at least she has Barbies, and so we can just play Barbies, and maybe she'll be nice. But I don't know, she was kind of a little bit crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Like I remember her chasing me around the backyard with one of her dolls, and like she was gonna throw it at me or something. So yeah, she was a little bit wild, to say the least. But one of her relatives, I guess, had come over, and I remember they were like, where's the Barbie's body or something like that. Or so yeah, that was the only time I'd ever been questioned about it. Like they didn't ask why I had a Barbie head, they were just like, where's the body to that Barbie? But yeah, oh no, it's mine. It's my doll head. And even then, the adults didn't question it. They didn't question why there was a kid carrying a Barbie head around. But yeah, but I have her back now, and she is amazing. I didn't know that the China variant had frosty makeup like this. It's just so frosty. She has her original earrings, and guess what? Bam! I do have a body donor for her. This one does have panties molded on, but I don't mind, and I did have the dress already. I found this dress on another Barbie at the thrift store. It was a Rockers one where she has the arms that move and stuff, and she has the straighter hair. But I'm gonna... Well, I need to get the... Here, I will be right back when I'm gonna get that neck joint out of her head. So yes, that is the neck joint that I took out. So it's like magenta, pinkish color. I don't remember if I think my original one did have a neck joint inside her head. And I think I wound up getting it out, but I think I lost it because I didn't know what to do with it. So yeah, that's her neck joint. And here she is on her new body. This body does not have a ring hole, but I can always make one. You can actually see there's an outline of where they would make the ring hole. So there's already a guide there for me to go by. Yeah, this body was Gap Barbie body. So the Gap Barbie, she came with Kelly. And I didn't really like her all that much. I got her specifically to use as a body donor. So yeah. I originally was gonna keep her, but then I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna body donor her because she had short hair, and I wasn't really a fan of her screening, stuff like that. I have since removed that doll's hair, so she will be getting a reroot at some point. But mainly, I wanted her. She was super cheap at the thrift store too, like $1 or something. So. And I was like, yeah, I'll use her as a body donor. And it's a good thing I did because now Totally Hair Barbie, Brunette, has a body. Some people call her Totally Hair Teresa or whatever, but no, she's literally Barbie. If they had made a Totally Hair Teresa, she would have had the Teresa face mold. None of the superstar face brunettes were ever called Teresa. So you could usually tell Teresa apart from the other ones. There was times where she had the Steffi head mold. There was another head mold that she had that the African American, I forget what head mold it's called, but the African American Day to Night Barbie has that head mold. I forget what the head mold is called, but yeah, some Teresa dolls I believe came with that head mold, but never the superstar face. So yeah, if you see a brunette Barbie with the superstar face, it is not Teresa. Same thing goes for the Generation Girl. If you see a Generation Girl face mold with brown hair, it's just Barbie as a brunette. Now they did, in 2005, they did give Barbie and Teresa both the same exact head mold. Like, they were both using the same head mold. But that's like one of the rare occasions that Teresa and Barbie have ever shared the same head mold. But this is not Teresa. This is just simply Barbie with brown hair. Brunette Barbie. Even says it on the packaging. It's brunette Barbie. It even says it in the commercial too. It says Barbie comes in blonde or brunette. So yeah. Gonna have to work with this hair. You can see somebody, and this was my original one too. She had no crimps in her hair when I found her. So yeah, I'm just assuming that the crimps go very easily. Like they don't last. And even like my blonde ones that I have, their crimps are very faded. So yeah, I was using the blue dress on her for the longest time. She was my second China Totally Hair Barbie. I have multiple totally hair Barbies. I have my original blonde that I got at the flea market in 2009. And I did a really crappy job. There was so many, like, holes in the dress, and it's very faded. So I did the best I could trying to stitch it back together. The material is very delicate, so yeah, there were certain edges, certain areas that I couldn't stitch together. So I just did the best with what I had to work with. But yeah, this is her original dress and everything. I did recurl her bangs. So yeah, those are done like that. I keep their hair in ponytails because it's easier to manage that way. So yeah, I wound up using the reproduction Barbie dress on her, which I have here. Which it's insane how expensive the Totally Hair reproduction is going for online, because she's not as nice quality. She's pretty and everything, she's well rooted, but the yeah, the hair, the main complaint about this doll for me, and I'm sure other people, there's a lot of people that aren't aware of this though. I'm sure a lot of people that have kept the doll in box have absolutely no idea about this, but the reproduction has polypropylene hair. So it's not saran, it's not Kanekalon, it's poly hair. So yeah, that's why I don't understand why this one is so expensive online, is because she's literally not made the same as the original ones. And the fact that the original ones are going for cheaper than the reproduction is even weirder. So yeah, she's not a very faithful reproduction because of that. But yeah, now I have the brunette. I have the brunette back. She was my very first brunette Barbie that I ever got. And she was my very first totally hair. So yeah, you can tell that whoever had owned her tried to put the crimps back in by doing braids. I would prefer to get a crimper. I mean, it did give her some really amazing volume. But you can see how it doesn't look like crimps at all. It just looks like squiggles. Like, that's all it looks like. It looks like a bunch of, like, squiggly lines. Like, see it, this one, yeah, look at that. Like, when you turn it this way, it actually looks like waves, but when you turn it this way, it just looks like a bunch of squiggles all over. Yeah, it just looks very untidy. So if I want to get a crimper, but until then, what I'll do is I'll do twist braids. What they did was they did the standard braids where you take 3 sections and then you braid it. But I'm going to do like 2 sections, do the twists. I'm going to do a bunch of twists and put that in hot water. I'm leaving her bangs as is. The bangs are very, very thick. They're very thickly rooted and they're still curled. So I'm going to leave those alone. I'm not going to boil wash them or anything. I'm leaving them as is because I don't want to mess them up. So, but yeah, it probably isn't going to show up that well on camera, but she does have a little bit of dirt on her face. But yeah, she's superior in my opinion. I just love her makeup a lot more. It's pretty much the same eyeshadow as the blonde, except the blonde has blue that goes up to the brow, like the eyebrow, and she has like purpley, like periwinkle, lilac shimmer. It's very purple toned, it's very cool toned, and her lips are different as well. Like the China version of the blonde has bubblegum lips. Hers don't look the same anymore because they are faded, but this one has much darker lips. Now that's another reason I didn't like the Malaysia variant, is because her lips are lighter. Oh yeah, see, now you can kind of, when I do this, you can kind of see the dirt on her forehead a little bit. So yeah, she is not clean. She will have to be cleaned thoroughly. When I took her out, yeah, she smells like the dolls that I would find at the flea market. She smells like a flea market. I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah, thank God she doesn't smell like smoke or anything like that. I've literally gotten dolls that smelled like cat pee and stuff like that. So, but no, she doesn't. She just smells like a doll that's been out in someone's garage or something like that for a long time, or I don't know. I don't know what this doll's story is. I don't know if I've seen people like go on eBay and like pop the heads off of the dolls and like sell the heads and the bodies, and they'll pop the earrings out and sell everything separately. So I'm not sure if that was the case with this one. If they like were gonna try to sell the body and the head separately, and that's how the neck got broken, because there's her neck joint. So I don't know the story behind her. She was obviously well loved. I mean, someone tried to put her hair back in the original style and everything. But yeah. Enough of my rambling. That is her. And I'll definitely be sure to do an update video of the Ariel dolls. I did get one of my original ones out that I've had for years and years and years and years, and I restyled her hair. I did an extra little style, but I mostly put it in the original style. She's my current favorite Ariel doll at the moment. So this is her. Get the glare off her eyes. So yeah, unrelated to this video, but I did restyle. This is Glitter Princess Ariel from 2005. And yeah, I painted an awful swimsuit on her ages ago. It was like reddish shimmery color. And so I don't have her original top, so I painted this one on recently to kind of match the original top she's supposed to wear. So there's that, and then I also painted bikini bottoms with that reddish nail polish as well, so I had to paint over that. So I did it with like greenish teal to match. And yeah, this was another doll at that flea market that I had, like there was lots of dolls that I had gotten at that flea market. So like this totally hair Barbie, which was my first blonde. Yeah, that's where I found this Ariel. I have my original one. Well, let me show her off real fast. So yeah, this is my original Sparkle Beach. Oh my gosh. Glitter Princess Ariel. Oh my gosh, I got so mixed up. But yeah, this was my original one, and she was one I played with really hard. Like, she was kind of one that I trashed because she was like newer at the time when I got her. And I was like disappointed because her face wasn't like the original Ariel face, because she has like molded eyelids and stuff, and the original ones don't. It's like a modified version of the original Mattel Ariel head mold. But yeah, I thought she had like a balloon looking head and stuff like that, and I didn't really like her like sultry look, so I kind of trashed her a little bit. So yeah, that was how she originally looked. And because I had to keep my dolls outside, that's why her face is all yellowed from being discolored. And then her body, I painted over the majority of the yellowing with nail polish. And I tried to get all this yellowing off with acetone. Yeah, her body is all cracked open and stuff. But yeah, that's the original yellowing right there, and that's everything that I have removed. And then she had like burn marks from like yeah, I was like doing a mad scientist experiment with this doll that like I was testing out to see like how the plastic would melt and stuff, because I was like, oh, I'm never gonna this was like ages ago. This was like back in like 2009 or something like that, and like I had literally like burned parts of her body and stuff to see how it would react to like being melted and stuff. So I took acetone and I melted all this to try to even it out. I sanded it and stuff like that. So I'm gonna paint this same color on the back to cover all this up and all the yellowing. I didn't feel like trying to get all the yellowing off, so that's why I have covered the majority of it up with nail polish, because I'm not going to do that. But I've cleaned her body, gotten the majority. Like at first I sanded a bunch of the yellowing off, and then I got acetone and removed a bunch of the yellowing that I couldn't get. So now all I have to do is paint the back. I do want to put super glue on her arm joints, because I used to play with her in the sand, and sand got in her joints, and then I would move them, and then it would grind down the mechanism, and that's why her arms are so loose and stuff like that. So, but I am working at restoring my original one. I have like repainted her face in the past. I rerooted her once, but I used really crappy hair. And before that, I had just decided I was gonna like draw a Sharpie. I don't know if it's like a flapper girl hairstyle, like kind of like Betty Boop or something like that. You can see like the curls that I did. There was little curls that I had done at the back, and I was just like, well, I'm just gonna draw like this short hairstyle on her and call it a day. But that was obviously really dumb of me to do, so I've been working at bleaching the Sharpie stains out with acne medication treatment. And then of course she had a neck split, so I actually kind of patched it by putting thread there and tying it off, and it's working so far. She's a hot mess. She is a very, very hot mess. She was a doll that I trashed because I didn't really care about her. I thought she was like inferior back then to the original Ariel dolls, but the funny thing is now she's my favorite Ariel doll, because I'm absolutely head over heels in love with her makeup. I don't mind her head mold anymore. I'm fine with it. I like her hairstyle. I did put an extra little thing there. So yeah, but this was the one I found at the flea market, like after I trashed mine. And yeah, I used to like take this doll out and like throw her in like mud puddles, and I was that bad. Like I would like submerge her in mud puddles and things like that. I just played with her very rough. But I'm making up for it now by restoring her. When I was washing her, some of the paint job that I did came off. I didn't fully repaint her face, though. I kind of painted over the original paint because I didn't want to remove the original paint. Those are her original eyebrows, which I'm surprised her eyebrows aren't gone. But yeah, the majority of her blue eyeshadow that you see was gone, so I replaced it with purple. But yeah, she will be getting rerooted very soon once I get a lot of these stains removed again. I corrected like her hairline, so that's the hairline that I had done. Her hairline was all the way up there originally, but I took her forehead down a little bit. But yeah, the irony of it is now she's like my favorite Ariel doll, and so I want to get a new one that has all her stuff. And then the bottom portion, I literally found this on the floor in the Goodwill. It's literally just lying on the floor one day, and I was like, oh, that's the piece that I need. Yeah, I was going to mention that because I started talking about her being from the flea market, and she was literally naked when I found her. So yeah, I got this one like new, and then I trashed her, and then I found another one, and I did take better care of this one. She is missing some hair plugs. I melted her hair by accident because I got impatient when waiting for her hair to dry. So yeah, you can see it's kind of frazzled looking right up there. I didn't do it too bad because I noticed the hair was getting distorted and stuff fairly quickly, so I turned the blow dryer off. This was when I was like 17 when I did that. So yeah, I didn't realize that that would burn doll hair. I was impatient when waiting for her hair to dry, so yeah. But yeah, I've taken care of her for the most part. I have not trashed this one. I've had her for a very long time. Yeah, this one I got when I was like 15, and then I found her at the flea market when I was 17. So yeah, hopefully soon I will get a new one. And I will definitely take better care of that one than I did these ones. But yeah, that's just kind of a random thing. You never know what I'm going to talk about in my videos, so I go off on a lot of unrelated topics. Well, it's kind of related because it's still doll related, Mattel doll related, but I start talking about nostalgia and things like that, and then I remember other dolls. And of course I mentioned the Ariel doll because I have Ariel dolls that I fixed up that I still need to have in my videos. But yeah, this is just one that I dug out of my collection, and I'm currently obsessing over her. My original one, I used to take her on the bus all the time, so I remember listening to my Hilary Duff album. There was one song that I used to listen to on that album called The Getaway, and I used to listen to it on repeat. And I was always one of the earlier kids that got picked up on the bus, so like it was always nighttime when I would ride the bus. And so like I would just sit there and stare at my doll and look out the window listening to that song while it was raining, watching the mud puddles, watching the bus splash through mud puddles during the rain. So yep, those are just me being off in my own little world. Wherever I would go, it was just me off in my own little reality. So, but yeah, back to her. That is the main topic of the video, was her. I have her back after losing her at 12 years old, and I'm definitely going to take very, 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 very good care of this one. I paid a pretty penny for her, so yeah, that would be rather dumb of me to do anything. I don't mess my dolls up anymore, but even if it was past me, you know, it would be really dumb to mess this new doll up in any way. So, but no, I'm definitely more. I definitely want to preserve my dolls a lot more now that I'm older and more mature, and I don't want to take them for granted. So I'm happy to have her back in my collection after all these years, and she's definitely going to be getting fixed up, so I will definitely be sure to post videos about that, or a video about that. But yeah, so many doll projects, dolls that I have gotten back, dolls from my childhood that I'm fixing up. It's endless. There's always some sort of doll project I'm working on, so she is definitely going to be one that I will make a video on after she is done being fixed up. So anyhow, enough of my rambling. I'm sure half the people have clicked off this video by now, but you know what? It's all good. You know, there's still those several loyal people that come on here and just listen to everything that I have to say. Even though a lot of it is very draining to listen to, I'm sure it's an earful. I just get on here and tell my life story all the time. And even though it's just one doll, and I have a life story. Like pretty much any of my dolls that I had as a kid in my collection, there's always kind of a life story behind each one of them. So that's why these videos wind up being so freaking long. So as I just go off on it, because I can just ramble and ramble and ramble. So anyhow, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching and listening and being here. And yeah, just for sticking around. So anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and more videos to come, and remember to stay true to you.